Hello, Jeff. On fantastic day's very stream. I want to share with you the 3 types of negative consciousness. Now you might know we have talked about a lot about consciousness, and well, many people do not differentiate between good consciousness, like the consciousness that is like high rank consciousness and low rank consciousness. So according to VP Koch PhD that I'm currently learning from, the theory of causality, there are 3 levels of negative consciousness. So without further ado, let's jump in. So the first level that you want to mind especially, and this is like the lowest rank, we want to go from down to up, right? Okay, so the lowest rank is called chaos. Chaos is basically a mentality when your whole mentality is ruled by materialistic forces. The materialism is just ruling. If the materia goes in one way, you go the same way. And materia is also like from like mother. It has always this mother energy, and you just are in this brew and cannot really escape. Nothing happens basically. And guess what? Everyone who is has passed their horizontal vacations, which is the spiritual awakening. You can call it the spiritual awakening. You got to the next stage, like of your spiritual evolution, where you can go with above the average. Everyone will face chaos. Everyone will face a chaos, but the thing is, you have to be more than a 0. You have to be 0 plus. And what I mean by 0 plus, or what does Gotch mean by 0 plus, is you have to build your own spiritual potential. How to build your own spiritual potential is when you are doing things, you're not doing things for yourself. No matter what kind of knowledge you get, what kind of insights you get, you don't take it to yourself and keep it till your grave. No. You want to share it, you want to carry it, you want to spread it, you want to help others, you want to help the environment, you want to grow. And you should also, especially when you grow in your job, you become a master of it, and you master it even more, because mastery is non-stopping process. You're just doing it over and over again. You master and become better and better and better. And you find out something new. This is what mastery is. Okay? So when you become a teacher, for example, and when you become a teacher of a teacher, when you have a new thing, and then you find a new thing, you become a teacher, you teach someone, and then you are teaching Allah how to teach this kind of subject. This is where you have your big potential. This is where you can cross it. This is where you have already contributed to society and to the mankind, and also to the created God. Okay? This is the approach. Because otherwise, you will face a chaos, and the chaos will take control of you and your whole life. And how the name chaos is, your whole life will become a chaos. You will face like economic crises, many of tragedies that are out of your control, and you might even face death. Okay, so it's always good to build up your potential. Now, the second one is mythic. And you know, mythic, it comes like about a cult and stuff like that, but it has nothing to do with a cult. In fact, many of this occultism stuff like that have also the roots to, having more animalistic deities and stuff like that. This is why it calls mythic, because here you are actually, your psyche is controlled by the animalistic roots, or by the animalistic by the animalistic genes in your DNA. And I have talked about some people who have overreact too much and stuff like that. These are those people. My previous video I've just talked about people because of overreaction. You can check it out, by the way, where I talk more in depth about those people. And here, if you just kind of take a really brief shot, those people are animalistic. They have more of those genes. It depends on human being, but they have more of those genes, and the more they have of it, the more they cannot differentiate themselves with nature. And because they don't differentiate the do and all that the nature does, they kill each other, they steal from each other, they rape each other. This is what they do. And many of those people sitting in prison, this is who we call the killers and berserkers, you know what I mean, right? And the descendant of those people are actually carrying this information, those genes inside of them, and they are also, when those people get descendants, the kids basically also become the same. This like this inescapable loop that happened there. I mean, they can escape it by, educate them more and stuff like that, become a better person. However, they have more likely the tendency to become more of this kind of riot, right? Now, the last one and the third one is the lower consciousness. So lower consciousness, we have talked about the toroids, right? You know what toroids are? If you don't know what toroids are repeated occurring occasions. So you have an occasion that occurs over and over again. You do a mistake, you do it over again, like 10 times in a row. You don't check it. You do it 100 times in a row. You don't check it. You do it 1,000 times. You do it 1K, 10K. You just do it over and over again. This is what a toroid is. Now, the more you're doing over and over again, it becomes a sack of an egregor. And I have talked about egregor like 1-2 years before, where I've talked about like this is like a group consciousness or a consciousness of a certain. Yeah, it's like the soul of the group or the soul of a certain feeling or a certain thought, like, or maybe threat, like fear of death is really big, of one of the biggest egregors out there, or fear of public speaking is also one of them. So those kind of egregors are there, and we have we have many bodies, and one of this is the ethereal body, and those egregors are making dots inside of your ethereal body and sucking life energy out of you, right? And the more of them you have, the less energy you have throughout the day, and the more sick you became, and the less you live on this planet Earth, the more egregors are attached to you. So what happened here, and I have also talked a little bit about in past video, that at a third lab, we have the karma. In a third lab of the karma, the sac of the egregor just rips off. It cannot bear any more of this kind of over-returning toroids. And what happened is, it rips off, and it rips off into the underworld, and your whole fields are just going down inside an underworld, and your whole livelihood, your whole life energy will be sucked by the underworld. And the problem with this is you can get rid of those egregor and stuff like that if you know how. And those people who already ripped the sacs, they have more sickness than everyone else, and they are more likely to die really soon. So now, why does it happen? Because most of those people's consciousness is based on dualistic thinking. What I mean by dualistic thinking, this is by just saying yes or not. There's nothing in between. They don't even consider any option in between. They just a no and yes and nothing else. So this is why they're not consider other options. They just kind of straight away yes or not, just a 0 or a 1, how you have like in IT. This is how they're thinking, right? Now, lower conscious people are mostly negative focused, even they know the difference between negativity and positivity. They're most likely to be focused on negativity, even on the subconsciousness. Every time, for example, if you put a dot, like how you can test it really easy, and many people are there. There still are there, some more, some less. However, you can just test it really easy. When I put a dot just on a white screen, on a white piece of paper, what do you watch? Do you watch the piece of paper or do you watch the black dot? If you watch immediately the black dot, that might be a sign that you are more lower conscious, more or less lower conscious, because you are focused more on this, on this bad thing. Basically, it is being more focused on negativity because of this dualistic mindset. And those people are actually the kindest people. They care about people so much, even overly. They scatter the whole soul, the whole livelihood, their whole heart and soul. They put in things, in people. They put it in people and what to do and so on. But the thing is, when the people run away from them, they feel broken. They feel betrayed, and so on. And you know those people, you might be one of them. And now because those people care so much about not themselves but others, even they might be spiritual that high up in the rank, but because they build up the potential, the spiritual potential, when they reincarnate most likely as a spirit, not as a human being. Now, the falling time, what do I mean by falling time, by the way? The falling time is a time, the whole mankind, the whole human race has been fallen all the years, all these thousands of years, because of where wars, our own consciousness, our spiritual level has been fallen on the same vibration as those of viruses and those of mushrooms. Now, because we've fallen, this is because why we become sick, right? This is why we become sick. And when we fall there, in this very moment, the toroids, like what I'm doing, like this overdoing things, right? The toroids that are there, what it did is they have implemented animalistic genes inside of us, aka the mythic mind. And because they have implemented, and from this moment on, the process of dying has started. People back then, like 10,000 years ago, were not dying at all. But because we started to war each other, because we started to fight each other, because we started even being cannibalistic, you name it, the whole mankind history is just bath and blood of others. And because of this bath, people got those genes that make them die. Now, this is a story. And now you know the 3-1. And you can comment down below which one of those 3 you are. I hope you are not in chaos. Mythic, some people are in the mythic, more or less. Lower, I believe so most of ours still in the lower consciousness. We kind of trying to get out of it, however, it's pretty harsh, and I'm currently working on it to get out of the lower consciousness. So now you know the bad one. I believe the next one also, I will also try to do a video on. It's a good one as well, so you know the difference from where to where you should go, right? And then you can also differentiate where you are right now and where you can grow. It's always amazing when you can grow, isn't it? It's the beauty of life. Now, reshaper. I hope you got some value from it. If so, smash a like, share with your friends, comment box down below what's the number thing I picked up so far. As always, do not light yourself to passion now. See you next time. And thank you for watching, and Naveen, Jangra, and Arlene Inilino. Sorry when I'm botching your names.